Maria. And now we'll hear from Gregg Cummings.
How's everybody doing, all right? This is a beautiful facility. All across the country, you see me in church basements, restaurants, and so on and so forth, but I just love this decor around here and the saloon atmosphere. Reminds me of my dad, who I always tell, who rest his soul, he's buried at the Arlington Cemetery, but I tell everybody that he's John Wayne and Archie Bunker rolled up into one. He would love this place. He would love it. Okay, I'm going to ask everybody to do me a favor and just humor me for a minute. And in a second, I'm going to tell you to take a deep breath. And when you do, I want to hear that sucking sound. So I want to hear that, and I want you to fill up those lungs, okay? And then I'm going to tell you to hold it, and then I'm going to tell you to let it out, okay? Take a deep breath. Hold it. Let it out. Outstanding, outstanding. All right, now we're going to try something else. I'm going to give you a mission. This mission is to blow this ceiling off of this place and let everybody around us know that the Tea Party is in-house. Okay, so this time I'm going to say take a deep breath, but when I say let it out, I want to hear a thunderous, "We the people!" Okay, take a deep breath, hold it, let it out. Outstanding. You know, just about every place I do this, I have to do it twice, but that's outstanding. I think you accomplished your mission. Give yourselves a hand, I'm telling you. What you just did, I want you to keep at the forefront of your thought process throughout the rest of this presentation. What you just did, if just one of you decided to participate or get engaged in what I just asked you to do, that mission would not have been accomplished. The people that's walking by would not have been wondering what in the world's going on in this room. If just a small handful of you participated, it would have sounded weak. It would not have the authority that it needed to accomplish that mission. That's what the Tea Party movement's all about. We the people are the Tea Party movement. The Tea Party Patriots is not the movement. Freedom Works isn't the movement. The Redlands Tea Party Patriots isn't the movement. But we are all part of the movement. We are not a political party like the Democrats or the Republicans. We are the people. We are the authority of this country, and we've forgotten that. So keep that on your forefront throughout the rest of this presentation. Okay. Everywhere we go, and we travel all over the United States, there's only three of us, Maria, myself, and a lovely Spitfire, old Italian lady. I call her my Italian grandma. She's 73 years old, and man, she runs circles around me in the Capitol or wherever we go. But anyway, as we go across the country, we get asked this question. We get asked this question all the time. Has the Tea Party made an impact? Has the Tea Party made any progress? Well, let's take a look at that. Let's go back in time for a minute and just talk about governors. Prior to 2010, there were 23 Republican governors in the United States. 23. Democrats, 26. This is prior to the 2010 elections. Let that sink in for a minute. After the election, 29 Republican states had governors, and it dropped from 26 to 20 for Democrats, out of 50. And yes, I know that's 49, and where's the missing one? Well, I think it's New Hampshire has an independent governor, okay? So after the elections, there's a huge difference. That was an impact not from the GOP, let me tell you. No, not at all. So look at after the 2012, we jumped up to 30, Democrats down to 19. Okay, so let's take it a step further. By a show of hands, who knows what a trifecta is? Okay, a trifecta in a state is a state that has let's say the Republic has a Republican governor, has the majority in the Senate side of the State House, and on the representative side of the State House has the majority. So all three have the majority. That's called a trifecta. Okay? Let's look at the same thing. So prior to the 2010 elections, eight states had Republican trifectas. 16 were Democrats. That's out of 50. And just to get a trifecta is a huge deal, right? Watch this. After the 2010 elections, 21 of those states were trifectas for the Republican Party. And again, a direct impact of who? No, let's go back at the beginning. Yes, some people are saying, we the people. That's right. Is a direct impact of we the people. So then the Democrats had us beat twofold. And then they dropped to 11, and we just shattered it. Now watch this. 24 after the 2012, and Democrats 12. And that's a direct response from you, we the people. And I salute you for that. Okay, let's take a look at this. Has the Tea Party movement made any progress? Okay, these are current numbers. This is from this January of 2014. If you look at the Republicans here, the question polled nationwide was, do you support the Tea Party movement, period? Okay? Republican Party started in 2012. The red is 2013 and the green's 2014. Of course, it's declined. 67%, 64 to 63%. That's declined, and it's understandable because why? And I'll tell you why right now before I explain the rest of this. It's because we the people have awakened. We voiced our opinions. We started re-educating ourselves and remembering and learning what a republic is supposed to be like, which means what? We the people are in charge. So the establishment on both sides of the aisle are seeing that. And now we're fighting two fronts, are we not? Both the GOP establishment and the Democratic and the progressives. So, of course, this decline right there. The independents, 46 to 37, back up to 44, and 37%. You know, we're talking about 2013, and the main reason why it fell so far is the government shutdown, which was falsely pinned on the Tea Party movement and the Republican Party, which we all know it was the president and Harry Reid that said it's either our way or no way, or we're shutting down the government. The Tea Party and the GOP put in four compromising solutions were shut down all four times. So in fact, it wasn't the Tea Party shutdown, it was Harry Reid shutdown, and they need to get their facts straight. So, yes, go ahead. And that's outstanding. But look at this. Look at this, Democrats. 18% to 12% to 20% of the Democrats across this country polled was asked the question, do you support the Tea Party, period. 20% said yes. Tell me there's not an impact that you are having across this country, right? Yeah. Give yourselves a hand again. That's outstanding. Again, you would think this was a Fox poll. No, ABC did this poll. Go ahead and Google it. There's tons more information in there. This is not a biased poll. The ABC did it, and they did not get the results they wanted. And overall, everybody that were polled nationwide, 44% supports the Tea Party movement. And in that same poll, they asked, do you support the Democratic platform and Democratic movement? 27%, which was number 2. And then the independents were number 3, and the GOP pulled up the rear with like 18 or 19%. So again, 44% overall of this nation believes and don't want to admit in the Tea Party movement. Yeah. That's outstanding. Yes, there's an impact. This is from the same poll, but just to make it shorter, it's whether they approve or disapprove. putting in the flat tax or the fair tax, and across the board, it was all in favor of that. Of course, not the strong liberal progressives, but everybody else, the Democrats, moderate, independents, conservatives, and Republican, and that's how the Tea Party started on the tax cry, right? And again, yes, there is an impact. With that, the Tea Party movement itself has never stopped growing, despite what the media and everybody else wants to tell us. Okay, so how did we get there? We got there by this list of things. We got out there on the street, and we waved our signs, right? We did our watchdogging. We running for office. We listened to John talking about beating the doors, boots on the ground. We re-educated ourselves and so on and so forth. We need to continue to do this. Okay? Now, real quick, and I'm sorry, but sometimes I just got to move. And I started this whole presentation without introducing myself, but that's okay. I'm just excited about this, right? And I got a ton of information to tell you. Okay, so we need to keep on doing this. When the Tea Party started, it was phase one. It was all over the place because we were getting up off the couch, right? For the first time, we were getting angry. The reason why I got off the couch because I was listening to Nancy Pelosi talking about the terrorist watch list, and the U.S. vets were on there. For no other reason, not because the mentally ill vets, not the PTSD vets. If you were an American veteran, you're on the terrorist watch list. Yeah. That made me mad. I definitely got involved there. But that was phase one. We, the people, got angry. We got up off the couch. We went down to our town squares, and we had rallies. We were all over the news and so on and so forth. And then through that, we started re-educating ourselves, which started phase two. Phase two of the movement, okay? So phase two was, okay, re-educating ourselves. I don't remember learning about this in high school. These basics foundations of what our government is supposed to be. I always thought we were a democracy. Everybody says we're a democracy. We're not a democracy. We are a representative, and they'll say democracy, but a representative republic. Our founders did everything possible to make sure that we would never turn into a democracy. Why? Because a democracy champions the will of the majority, right? A republic champions the rights of each individual citizen. So the Constitution itself was written not to tell the people what they have to do because of the government tells them to. The Constitution was written to tell the government what it cannot do to the people. Right? So that's phase two. Right, that's right. So that started phase two, and then we started running for office. We started getting on our school boards. We started to run for our city councils. We started to run for our state level offices and our federal offices, right? And we got a few handful champions on the federal level. It about triples across the United States and on the state level. And again, the numbers grow on the local level. So that's where we are in phase two. Now phase three starting. Phase three is starting this year. Any guess what phase three is? Anybody? Yes. We have to increase our ranks. We have to increase our ranks and continue to do this amongst a lot of other things. So how do we do that? We got to build coalitions and so on and so forth. So there's some documents that the leaders have. And if you don't have it and you don't belong to a Tea Party group, please just write down my email, Gregg, Gregg, at teapartypatriots.org, and I'll make sure you get these documents. But the first one I want to talk about is starting a new group document. Okay, with this one, like Maria was saying, that we travel all over the country, and so we started gathering best practices on how to start a new group. So we take it from this document, from the very moment that you're on the couch and you're wanting to get up and make a difference and start a group. We take it from that point in this document all the way through until you're well seasoned and really getting active. So we start off with this document, and we felt it was very, very important first to define the definition of what the movement is, okay, and that it's not a third party and so on and so forth, right? So in there, in detail, it talks about that. Then we felt it necessary to stay focused on those three core values. There are a plethora of different types of issues out there, social issues or whatever you want to call them, but those three core values, everything else falls underneath those. So we have to stay focused always, right? And so then the Constitution, we all talk about that we're trying to defend the Constitution. So we pulled out these three main parts within the Constitution that actually tells the government what it can do. Okay, and it's very important and it's vital, not only you as an American citizen pull out Article 1, Section 8 to find out what it is that the legislative branch is actually able to do, but for your whole group to have that discussion so that your whole group can teach each other and learn from each other so that you can stand on a strong foundation when you're face to face with a liberal news reporter or a liberal progressive and so on and so forth, so that you can, in fact, you as an individual, make that difference and defend your Constitution. And the same goes with the executive branch. Article 2, Section 2 is in there. And then the Supreme Court, Article 3, Section 2. So all of these are specific and easy to understand the roles of each one of the branches of our government. So it's important to know those. And then finally, the Bill of Rights. We all know that's first through the 10th Amendment, and it tells what the government cannot do to us. Okay, and once you learn these, and once your group is well versed in those, then you start to be able to see those red flags that the big government is trying to do by taking away our Bill of Rights, correct? And that's not going to happen until when? We, the people, get in charge and work with each other so that power and that strength is there to take care of business. Okay. So these are foundational and basic self-study for the individual, and please, as a group, assign that to your memberships and then come back and actually put it to practice and debate within your group about them so you learn and grow stronger. Okay, so then phase 1 of this document, it talks about recruiting, coordinating help, and how important that is. You know, we all know these single champions like Dawn. We heard what a champion she's been, but even she will tell you that she can't do it all by herself, right? We need each other. It's not Dawn, America for Dawn, right? It's we the people. We the people, and Don will be the first one to tell you that. Okay, so finding a meeting place. You guys got a great one here. And the meeting agendas and how important it is to have agendas so that your meetings are not excuse the term, a bitch session, right? Or just people complaining about stuff and not actually acting or trying to come up with solutions. So have an agenda. And make sure that your leadership, demand that your leadership have agendas in your meetings. Okay? Mission statements. It is so imperative that you have a mission statement. You know, is it King Street Patriots? Right? King Street Patriots in Texas was a little group that decided we got too many irons in the fire. And they decided to focus just on one area and one area only. And today we all know them nationwide as True the Vote. It's because this one group decided to get involved and to focus on one thing because they realized what their strengths are within their group, right? And now they're nationwide. So mission statements are very, very important. Okay, so setting up communications, so networking and reaching out to others and keeping lists and so on and so forth, super important. And in the military, anybody will tell you, the number one issue of everything, before supplies, before anything, is communication. Without communication, every single one of your missions is a failure. Okay, coming up with the group name, it can be whatever you want. It don't have to have Tea Party in it. It can be the fluffy pink bunnies of Neverland. It doesn't matter. What matters is your mission statement. What matters is your communications and the actions that you actually take to win back your country. Okay, phase 2 is fundraising for your group, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But again, the missions, through assessments of yourself as an individual, will prove what your strengths are as a group. Then your strength as a group will determine what missions that you're going to focus on outside of your group and getting active, okay? And it talks about that, best practices in each one of these. The Tea Party Startup Kit, or the sample kit, we got some down here, and we gave them to a couple of new groups here this afternoon. But the Tea Party Patriots, we believe and we operate as the Republic should operate. Okay, we're 100% grassroots, 100% of the time. So it's really important that we listen to you guys and we get the things back to you guys. Thank you. Three minutes. I'm going to probably be 15 more. All right. All right. So the national support team. This is what we're here for. We're here for you. All the monies that come to us, we turn it right back around and give it back to you in resources, in the forms of education, in the forms of training, in the forms of promotional products, and so on and so forth. So we're here to do that. So fundraising, just real quick, I'm going to touch on three of them. We have a national expert that actually helps raise funds for us. If your group wants to borrow him, you just let us know, and we'll connect him with your local coordinator, and we will send him to you at free of cost. Won't cost you anything to do a 3-hour training with your group to help you to raise money. The Leadership Institute, we have a partnership with them. It's a fantastic national group, and we will pay lock, stock, and barrel for them to come to you to train. We just ask you 3 things, or 4 things actually. 1 is to get the venue. 2 is to make sure there's at least 25 people there. 3 is to have lunch provided for that day. And the 4th one is to charge $25 per person. Did he just say $25 per person? That $25 does not go to Tea Party Patriots, nor does it go to the Leadership Institute. It goes right back to your group. The reason why we ask you to do that is because if Tea Party Patriots is going to spend the money to send a whole crew and their materials to you, we want to make sure that there's people there to be able to be trained and so on and so forth. So with that, the group can take that money and use it however they want to use it, okay? So that's a great fundraiser. And the last one is the SCRIP program, the Iowa Grassroots Coalition, with which I'm a co-founder of. We talk, and it shouldn't be a T on there, it's SCRIP. That's the Ranger in me. I'm not very intelligent. Anyway, the Iowa Grassroots Coalition SCRIP program, it's a simple program to where you spend money for gift cards that comes back. You don't spend a penny more than you normally do for your gas, your groceries, going out to dinner or whatever. You're just using the gift card for those areas. And you can save anywhere from 2 to 15%, but that 2 or 15% doesn't come from your or you don't see it in your purchase. That goes right back to your group. So again, all the details on there. If you go to the www.iagrc.com, click on resources and then SCRIP, it's in great detail there. So these are just ideas and samples of fundraising across the country. Okay, the next one is the word of mouth technique, and I'll just go over this real fast because there's a lot that I still need to cover, but the definition of We the People. Phase 1 of it is the local group membership networking. This again is a step-by-step process. And the word of mouth technique is probably the most important document that will feed this phase 3 in the nation. And it just teaches the individual to start developing your own lists and how to network and so on and so forth. And then you share that with your group, which is the next one. And so that your group starts developing this list and network. Phase 2, then you take that and you go locally. You have to know personally and get to know personally those on your school board and your city councils and so on and so forth, and your state representatives, and get to know them. And this process will slowly but surely give you that confidence to where you keep working up and doing face-to-face conversations with more and more. Then after that is neighboring group network. This is really important. Your group within your county might not be the only group there. There might be 2, 4, 10 different groups within your county. So start knowing who they are and start going to their groups and speaking and inviting their experts to come to your group to speak. And that develops a camaraderie that we see in the military all the time between companies and platoons and so on and so forth. So if something happens, you know where to go for help. Or if you have a weakness that another group has a strength, there's a resource, and it starts building that network and we're working well to each other. Phase 4 is the national group network. Well, then once you start growing this, then you start doing your assessments on the national level and finding out what those national groups have for you. Phase 5 is just understanding the visual of the word of mouth technique. Here's Iowa. This is back when there were 47 groups in the state, and as you can see, let me do this real quick. There are, well, we started off with 13, and then we went to 47, and now there's 78 groups in the state. But let's say this group right here put the word of mouth technique into practice, and so they went around their neighboring group, their neighboring counties only, nowhere else in the state, just their neighboring counties, and touched base and started sharing resources and strengths with just the ones that's in their surrounding counties. And if everybody did that, worst case scenario in our nation, and the energy grid gets knocked out, we just heard on the news 2 weeks ago that if that happened, there's 4 major ones, it would be a year and a half before America would get back online with the computers and phones and so on and so forth, right? So let's take a look at how this works and what this does. So, worst case scenario, just by word of mouth, if this group here wanted something to go statewide, this one would just go and visit this group because he knows where they're at and shares resources with them. Then this group shares with that group and so on and so forth. Eventually, the whole state gets that word of mouth and that extra communication that's so vital within our movement. So once you let this sink in, you can see its benefits. It just along with Facebook or Twitter or emails or whatever else you got. One picture has 1,000 words, does it not? Does it not? Well, as you can see, I actually carried this in the Gulf War with me. I had some religious backing, I guess, and every time I looked at this, I realized where my faith at. But let's take a look at this. Let's remove hate and put progressive right there. Okay? Instead of religions on each one of these, let's put the title of your individual Tea Party group. Oh yeah, at first it was real funny. And now what? What are you saying? Because we see across the country how this Tea Party group don't want to work with this Tea Party group because that's a 912 and this is AFB and this is Tea Party Patriots and this is Tea Party Express and there's the progressives, right? The importance of we the people to stop our destroying ourselves and working together to make something happen. Okay, so that instead of this, even though we all do believe in one God and one nation under God, hallelujah, but this becomes we the people, right? We the people. Okay, so we do that by not being degraded, discredited, or defaced. Not being degraded by our actions, so don't go out there with swastikas and hanging the president in effigy and so on and so forth, because that's a discredit to the movement, right? That's degrading, or discredited by your dishonesty. If you're being asked questions, don't lie. Be honest. Be straightforward. Defaced by not standing up. Make sure you don't cower. We the people cannot cower. We got to keep on going. So how do we tackle that? Well, we do it by the 3 C's, right? We through collaborations, communications, and commitment to consistencies. Okay? So I love this by Frederick Douglass. I would unite with anybody to do right and with nobody to do wrong. Right? So even if John Barry comes to me and says, Greg, let's go over here and hold up swastikas in front of the Democratic Central Committee and I'm going to say no, John, because that's not what we're about, right? Not that John would do that, but okay. So it doesn't matter. We work beside anybody that will do right. So some coalition building tips, self-assessments. I touched on that already a little bit, right? You have to do your self-assessment first, find your strengths and weaknesses, and bring that to your group. Share those strengths and weaknesses with your group. Your group assessments, through that, you'll be able to build strength and be able to know where your missions should go in the future. And then your state assessments. Because of those first two, you'll be able to know when and where to tackle things. Okay, so let's look at the visual of all this real quick. This is your area or your group. You're reaching out to resources and you're doing your works. And through that, you're developing your own champions, right? And your elected officials. And through that, you're feeding the national movement, which is all one, e pluribus unum, correct? From the many one, which is Captain America. Okay. So you'll think about this every time you see the movie now, right? Okay. So it all is e pluribus unum, from the many one. You by doing this, that is operating within the republic, right? It's called popular sovereignty. Thank you. Popular sovereignty. Popular sovereignty. That is the action of operating as a republic. Okay, so I want to close. Something I want to share with you. During the Gulf War, we were assigned and attached with the French Foreign Legion. And our mission was to take Al-Saman Airfield just south of Baghdad. And 9-hour battle just got done. And we accomplished our mission. We secured the airfield, Hua, United States. And then we had to start clearing minefields. And as we were clearing them, I hear a huge explosion. And I look over to my right, and I see this pink mist. And so I go running over there along with a lot of other soldiers, and there were 9 of my brothers. They're dead, and we had to collect the bodies, right? Because we don't leave our fallen behind. And there's a purpose of sharing this with you. So there's families at home. There's 9 families at home for that particular incident, right? And they're awaiting their caskets to come back. Well, we didn't know which body parts belonged to which soldier, right? So we had to divide them up the best we could, and put them in 9 body bags, and we sent them back home. Well, I share that with you because of this. How many of us know why we fold our flag in a triangle? Just a show of hands. You don't have to spur it out. Very few. Okay? The reason why we fold our flag in a triangle is to represent the tri-corner hat of the very first soldier who died for this nation. So when this happens, when we brought those families home, or when we bring those dead home tomorrow from Afghanistan, and this happens, we fold the flag up in a triangle and we give it to the family. And when we give it to the family, at that very moment, that soldier becomes a part of a lineage, a lineage of Americans just like you. Each and every one of you in this room right now are citizen warriors for this nation. Just like the very first soldiers with the tri-corner hats that put down their plows, right? And they went to war. They were citizens, and they went to war for freedom, to get away from tyranny. Okay? Keep that in your mind. Now let's take this. Is this the way our government should be if it was in the shape of a triangle? Say no. No, because this is a dictatorship, right? The person at the top and we the people down here at the bottom. A republic, and it should be like this. And this is the way we operate. From our own, we the people, the authority of this nation, right? the authority from our own. We choose our elected officials to come down here to do the work of our republic. Not to tell us what to do, but to come down here to be the voice of the authority of this country, correct? Okay, this is a pure democracy. From a pure democracy, we go to socialism, then we go to communism, then we go to fascism, to dictatorship. And we're not here yet, but we're about right here. And we the people, you, each one of you that's gotten up off the couch, has gotten up and we jumped on this pendulum and we're trying to bring it back. Don't disrespect our lineage. Don't respect this lineage by cowering, by not going out and recruiting those family members, by telling them what the republic is supposed to do, by letting them know that the dadgum freedoms that we love today is being eroded by the cancer called progressivism. And if you yourself don't champion that, you're just as bad as they are. Champion it. Do it for yourselves. Do it for your children. Do it for the pursuit of the American dream. With that, I salute each and every one of you. Thank you very much.